Hey everyone, this is Krayshep. Thank you for joining me, and we are playing Software Inc. When we left off, we were just finished hiring our two new employees. Brain, who apparently, I really don't get it. I'm guessing just a spelling error in the list there, but maybe he is Brain. That's just an awesome name. So Brain Carson is our newer, I believe that's a designer if I'm not mistaken. We'll take a look at his information. Yes, he's a designer. And Dolores Baldwin, who is our programmer. So, and then of course our founder, who just does kind of everything. So really quick, I want to talk about roles for just a minute. If you click on someone, you'll see right here it says Dolores, which is their name, and then what role they are. Right now she's set to any role. So if I start a project, as we know, we've got a design phase and a programming phase. Now, some of the programming phase may contain art. That's another role involved. If we have someone on any role, that basically means during all of these phases, they will try to contribute. I believe we found with Brain has enough coding experience to help. I'm a little bit worried about how low his 2D skill is, but if it's a system-only application we're designing, he should be able to help and supplement the project without hindering it. So we could leave him on the any role. While Dolores, if we take a look at Dolores, now Dolores has 0 design skill. So we are going to take away her take any job box and make sure that she is set to programmer. What this means is that when we start our design phase, she will sit there and stare at the wall and think happy thoughts, but she will not contribute to the project whatsoever. So, we will go ahead. As I mentioned before, we're going to be starting up our own software project. So I'm going to put this on pause real quick so we don't waste too much of our day. Alright, so now, here's the big thing. The bigger the project, the longer it's going to take, and the bigger team you need involved. The more options you choose increases the size of the project in terms of how long it takes, and also increases the number of members of the team. Adding visual interfaces also increases the number of artists. So if you remember, basically at this point only the founder has any experience in artwork. I'll take a quick peek at his skills. He doesn't have any system. There really isn't a system art work. You can make 2D sprites, or he can make some audio stuff. So we can do a little bit of art. I'd say something around like up to 25% before it starts to hinder us, because that way our founder can be working on the art portion of the programming, while the programmer just pumps out that code. So what we're going to do, here is all the list of here's the list of all the software available. What I'd like to do is start with a content management system. These are very small. As you can see, if we look at the default category, which is financial, the basic program only requires a team size of 2. Now, if we look at kind of our competition, let me come down, I'm sorry, wrong way. Come down here and hit all software. And what we're looking for is these are all the releases completely in the world right now. And in 1980, in March of 1980, these are all of the software packages that are out there. Which is a pretty good list. So we've got a couple big competitors. You'll notice a lot of these wind up being sequels to each other. So what we're going to do is we're going to filter this down to CMS. Ooh, antivirus. I'll probably wind up getting that a little bit later. And 3D editor. We don't have those right now. A little bit too early on. So under CMS, here's what we got. Quite a few pieces of software, but some of them don't have any users whatsoever, probably because they have no marketing. Oh, this one actually didn't have any marketing, and it's got quite a few. Alright, so we're going to search by active users. So our main competition is Economy 4. Economy 4 by I Incorporated. Came out 2 years ago, great quality. Their marketing is all over the place. You can't walk down the street without seeing a billboard for Economy 4. Lots of 52 million in profits. That's crazy. Alright. So they're selling it at basically 90. So what we want to do, now we're not going to just come in here and sweep through them overnight, but I'd like to place respectfully somewhere probably in the couple of thousand range. What this allows us to do is get off the ground, not have to spend too much in terms of effort in designing and programming. We want to keep the project simple enough that we can finish it, but we want it to be good enough that it does make some sales and it boosts our market recognition and sort of our fan base. So we want to make sure our first product out the door is a good one. We're not pumping out crap here, for sure. We don't want to do that. So what we're going to go ahead and do, I'm going to close down the all releases box here. Alright, so we're going to call this Ubank because, like I said, the company Unique likes that Apple style. We're going to follow that Apple style of naming conventions because honestly I am incredibly unoriginal when it comes to names, so this will help us keep, if we wind up doing lots of software, it will help us keep everything organized. So Ubank is a financial content management system. We'll get into SCM in just a moment. So right now, as it stands, the max quality we could put out is outstanding. We can make a perfect product if we put enough time into it. We will reach 72 million users potentially with our product. Now here are the options that we can add to the project. If we add some visualization tools, for example, the project then is split from anyone who can work on it halfway, so then it's anyone can work on it, but really half of the product is going to be 2D. And that's 25% artists. I know that doesn't really make sense because it's splitting the pie in half, and honestly, it's still a bit confusing for me. But think of it this way. If it says artists needed are at 25%, well, we know part of it here, half of it is a 2D interface. Well, someone on paper is just going to design how the interface looks. Eventually, someone's going to have to create that or program it or make it in, Fireworks or Adobe Photoshop and export that, 2D piece of art out. So basically, half of this piece of the pie is going to be devoted to actual artwork. I've kind of learned it's been a little bit weird with artists, but as far as I can tell, artists generally don't work in the design phase. They do most of their work in the development phase. So correct me if I'm wrong. Feel free to leave a comment on that. I'm still trying to pull from different resources, but my experience so far, now again, I'm talking 30, 40 people. This is really going to be my first long-term, large company go at it. So, yeah, so basically that's artists are a little bit crazy. We really are going to avoid artist stuff if we can. I'm looking at all these different options here now. Bank integration, all it really does is let us pump up the price a little bit, well, actually quite a bit, by double, but it also increases the amount of people required to work on the project, which is fine. We have 3 people. It's really what you want to go for. You really want to make sure you have the recommended team size. If it's asking for 3 people, you should have 3 people. Now, when it comes to defined roles, like if you've got a programmer who's only programming and a designer who's only designing, I'm not sure if that counts as being the 3 or if that, maybe you need to have more. We'll experiment with that as we go. But right as it is, I like bank integration. It doesn't add a whole lot other than an additional person, and it increases the price. So we're going to set this bad boy at $50. QA is sort of afterwards. You'll wind up having a patch period. You'll have someone monitoring a support forum, getting those tickets in and fixing the bugs. But you know what? We're going to make it so good out of the gate, we're not even going to need any QA. We're just positive it's going to rock. So here we go. Should be less than a year. 3 people. Maximum 72 million users reached. Now, definitely not going to happen, but we'll see what we can do. Alright, so we're going to start developing the product. When you first start a new project, the game will ask you if you want to market, sort of like build up the hype for your product. I'm going to stay away from this for now, mostly because we do not have a marketing team, but it also costs a lot of money, and we don't know how fast this product is going to be pumped out. So you could be spending lots of money on your marketing team and just constantly draining your budget. So we'll see what we can come up with here. Let's get to work. Looks like, yeah, just like we expected, our designer and our any person here, which is our founder, both working on the project, while our programmer is sitting pretty because, well, there's no programming to be done right now. Now we'll do this. I will go ahead and set Miss Dolores to any role. And what she's going to do is start programming. Normally what happens, I don't know if it's going to give me this warning right now because she may not be that bad, but if you have someone who is absolute rubbish in the role, it will give you a warning that says, you know, Dolores is so bad at this, it's actually harming the development or the design phase. It's really hard to measure. I guess we could do... There's no real percentage here. I guess we could do like a mouse width to see how much development gets done within a certain period of time versus not. Let's take a look at her skills real quick. I mean, really, she shouldn't be working in there. She has no system design skill whatsoever. So we're gonna go ahead and take her out of that. I know it's a person who's sitting there wasted, but in my mind, as far as trying to be realistic with a company, you really wouldn't send a programmer to get into the design phase if they're unfamiliar with the process whatsoever. If all they see is C# or C++ and they speak in Python and talk to you with definitions. So we'll go ahead and now this isn't bad. This is in one day. We're not even finished with the day yet. We've done about 1/8 of the project. You can see right now what the current quality is. So you see like a contract, we saw a little bar here indicating our target. You know, they wanted it to be mediocre, which might be here, or they wanted the quality to be bad. We want our project to be as good as possible. So we're not going to send this to the development phase until we're pretty high up here. Now, I may rush it on through if we get tight on money, but my goal right now is to let this go all the way to the end and see what kind of quality we can get out of this and move into the development phase. So everyone's gone home for the evening. We'll go ahead and skip ahead to the next day. Get our folks on in here. I'm probably going to run at 3 for a while because it is pretty basic off the bat. You know what I could do real quick. So we know Brain is working on design. He can also do a little bit of coding, but mostly he is... Well, he's actually not bad coding at all. Brain is doing the designing. I was going to see if we could get him a better little extra piece of desk accessory, but I think the inbox is kind of overall the best right now. Real quick, I won't take up too much time looking at this, but comparatively, so design phase looks like that a little bit much, and yeah, it doesn't look like there's any real boost to the design phase. What I will do, though, there is a noticeable boost for a programmer to have a calculator. So I'm going to sell this little inbox, and now we're going to buy a calculator for our programmer. So now you're wondering, well, what prevents Miss Dolores from taking my chair or this other chair? You can, in fact, assign equipment to a single person. Now, the only way I found out to do this, I could be completely wrong, because if you look at the object, see, I wonder if I can look at the chair. If I look at the chair, there's no option to just assign it to whoever. There's no way to say, okay, pick from a list who you want to be assigned here. Same thing goes with the table. I'm not sure about computer. Yeah, same thing for the computer. So really what you have to do is wait for someone to sit down that you want at that desk, and then you can click on them, right-click, bring up that context menu, and what we're going to do is select furniture. Nope, that's the wrong one. It's up here. Assign the furniture being used by the employee. So I click that, and now you see right here, this computer is owned by Dolores. Same thing, I think, with the... Okay, so the chair and the table are basically dependent on the computer. So The computer is owned by Dolores, so that means only she should be sitting there, which means she will get the most benefit out of this fancy calculator. All that work just to assign a desk. Also, you can assign different teams to different rooms. Now, this will come in handy later. You know, this is going pretty quick, and we're not really losing too much money. If we look at what last month, we're looking specifically at bills. So it costs us $700 to keep the lights on. It costs us... Now that's going to change because we haven't paid these folks yet. So actually we're about to come up to a payday here in a bit. So it will cost some more money. I think I've got these two around $8,000 in salary. So we're looking at roughly $9,000 every month pulling out of this account. I'll go ahead and hold off on putting the marketing team in yet. I was going to build out here and build a marketing room. I'll just go ahead and wait on that. And what we'll do is let this develop further. What I actually might do is once we move into the programming phase, our developer or our designer should kind of be sitting there with nothing to do. So I may start a small contract which will give the designer something to do, and then we can just fit it into the programmer schedule and they'll pump it out. So looks like we're not going to get finished today. We'll go ahead and speed up a little bit and see what we can come up with in the next couple of days. Everybody gets their morning coffee. It's kind of the same thing. They'll always go to their desks, I guess, put their jackets down, put their Monster energy drink on the table, and then grab a coffee because you can never have too much energy. So we'll go ahead and slow it down a bit. Coming up on the end of the month, we're almost finished with our project design phase. It's in great quality right now. So if we were to, it says expected quality. That means if we were to process this through and not rush anything, if we let everything in the programming phase go to the finished state, we would have a great product on our hands. So we want outstanding. We want the best of the best. So we are not going to rush this. We are about to hit payday, so we'll see at midnight how much gets deducted. Alright, so yeah, it was about 8,000 now, it looks like. Let's take a look here. Yep, 8,000 for salary, 700 for bills. So $8,700 right now is what it costs to maintain this building every month. Not really bad if you consider... Now, I don't really know... I guess it depends on how good the marketing team is. I probably will bring them in here in another week, or another day, to start hyping up the quality, or hyping rather the incoming CMS financial program we're building. Alright, so let's go ahead and pump this through. I think we can get to it at the end of today. Here it comes. Okay, so we are now at the outstanding phase. Now if we sit here, I'm going to pause it real quick so you can notice the difference. We've already maxed this design bar all the way out. If you notice, I'm not going to let it do it too much, but if you wait too long, the design bar will start to fall back down. I think this kind of punishes you for maybe taking on too many projects and you can't, you're not able to hit develop fast enough. I'm not really sure, but you can see a little sliver of white. That means the quality is going back down because honestly we're overthinking it. So let's go ahead and push this on to the development phase. Now what you'll notice here, here we go, here's our warning. So Brain Carson is working on art for Eubank, but is not competent in art. So he may delay the release and ruin the art. So we're going to pause the game real quick. Because if we remember, apparently there was, I don't quite remember having an art component. Let's quickly go back here. Was there an art component? Interesting. Maybe this is just... That is very interesting. Because we did a financial CMS. I don't think we picked any of the... We didn't pick the GUI option. I think we just stuck with bank integration, which says, theoretically, there should be no artist needed. But we are in early alpha of the actual Software Inc. itself, not just this game we're developing. So maybe it's a bug, maybe I picked the wrong feature. But what we'll go ahead and do then, so that was Brain. So Brain is our... Yeah, Brain is primarily our designer. So what I'm going to do is force the role of designer to Brain. And Dolores is still programmer. Now it's weird because it doesn't punish Dolores. It doesn't say Dolores is bad, even though she has no art skill. Very interesting. So this is sort of the green bar, red bar I was mentioning earlier in the first video. You can see the progress of our project here, specifically this alpha phase of the Ubank software. You see a red bar, and there's actually not even a green bar right now. They must both be doing the artwork at the same time. The red bar represents the artwork completed so far. So if you notice, that bar is almost a quarter filled up, yet our overall total is barely a sliver, which might indicate that there's only a tiny bit of art required for this phase of the project. I think that's kind of what it's indicating. So we'll go ahead and speed up time a little bit. Yeah, everyone's focused on the art. I'm wondering if it's going to slow way down. We'll see here. So theoretically, that's what, all the art's finished now. And then we're getting to the meat of the code. Okay, that looks like what happened. Both of our programmers went right into developing the artwork for this project, and not so much the actual meat of it. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Please leave a comment. This is something I'm still trying to pick up, but it might have been one of those things you read on a forum and it's completely, you know, there's no grounding to it. That doesn't make any sense. But do recall reading that red meant art, but let me know. And also, in general, anytime you have a comment, go ahead and leave it. I will be happy to accept your criticism. We will see if we can improve the unique software company on our journey to becoming software giants. Okay, so everyone's got their coffee in the morning and they're plowing through here. Let's take a brief slowdown, and I'm going to quickly look at their productivity. So if I click on a person, just like we had this little room info box, you get an info box for the person. 27 years old, their salary, and their effectiveness. Now, effectiveness is influenced by a few things. The environment, the people they're working for, and their overall happiness. Now, they can become unhappy if they're not getting raises, for example, and things like that. Also, the influence of a team leader will affect this effectiveness box here. So if you have someone who is a team leader, and just for fun, you know what we'll do here? She's at 239%. I'm going to change the founder to a lead role. So he's now working as the project lead. We click on back, and she's now at 292. I believe it. I completely forgot what she already was at. 292, 292. Going back to any role. 239. Okay, so having a team lead increased the effectiveness of one of our underlings quite a bit. So team leads can be very strong. It depends on that leadership skill, which is the actual, I guess, role skill, we should say, and then the leadership trait. So there's two things that can affect that. Because my leader does not really have great leadership trait, I'm probably not going to use him as a leader down the road. I mean, eventually if the company gets big enough, I'm just going to stick him in an office with his own refrigerator, with his own bathroom, with the best view in the company, and he's just going to sit there, you know, snoozing all day. But at the moment, he's really not going to be an effective leader. He's much better off as a designer or a coder or as that backup art person. So, we're moving into the end of the month. Our project is just moving along. We're going to take another hit on finances because it's payday, but I expect this to be finished up before it gets really bad. You know, I said I'd do this earlier, and I think I'm going to try it. We're going to look for a contract just to give us a little bit of supplemental income. There's a mediocre... I normally avoid game assets because they require artists. Here we go. Horrible project. $10,000 to make some horrible piece of software. Perfect. We're going to accept the work. It automatically gets assigned to the core team. And now, if you noticed, Brain, who is our designer, he had not been doing anything because there's now a new project which is in the design phase. He is back to work, and wow, he is already done. Oh, nope, we have to take a potty break. Not a problem. Brain, for you, we will allow it. And we'll go ahead and push this over to the programming team, and Brain is back taking a nap. So yeah, right now the effort is split. So they're working on both Ubank and McCityDump, this contract software that we have. You know, maybe it's split screen, I'm not sure. Sorry about, I just sped up. I might do that occasionally. You may see time fly up. I'm just trying to make sure we keep on kind of a steady pace. So we'll promote this, go into beta, fix the bug, released it, boom. $10,000 in the bank. We're getting pretty close. Okay, so what we're going to do, we are going to expand our office and get ourselves a marketing team. And we'll go ahead and extend the hallway, and we will add a you're thinking here. Now again, this is going to look a little funky off the bat. I'm definitely going to be remodeling once we get more towards about 5 or 6 folks. So I will add down a building or a room here. And you know, we'll do these big, nice double paned windows. Maybe a couple on this side as well. Oh, what am I doing wrong here? Perfect. Okay, we need a door to get into, and we'll have a nice double door entrance, glass door. And I'm going to steal, duplicate one of these desks, and I'm going to replace the little accessory with a phone, because we are going to have marketers in this room. And then we'll take care of the temperature and lighting. All right, dead center. That makes me so happy. And give them a little light in case they stay late. I think that should be it. We're only going to get one marketing person for now. We'll give them a nice little painting to think about. A plant. Maybe just a little plant. It's going to be lonely in there when they're not talking to production companies. And yeah, we'll give them a plant. Perfect. Nice little office there. And then one thing I didn't do, we're going to make, I guess, we're going to make the hallway the snack room. You know, it's a small indie office. No one cares. No one cares that they don't have a break room yet. They've got a place to use the bathroom. That's really all they need, you know, if we're being honest. Let's go ahead and give ourselves a door. All right. Perfect. We'll go ahead and start our search for a marketing. Well, actually, real quick, before I do that, we want to make a new team, because when we hire our marketing person, we do not want them to go on the core team, because they're not part of the core team. They're not going to be designing or programming, and they will basically hinder the project. So we're going to go under Manage Teams, and right down here at the bottom, we're going to call this our marketing team and add. And you also work from 8 to 5. Perfect. Alright, so it's empty right now, but we're going to start our search for that marketing guru who will, you know what, I'm going to pump this all the way up. We're going to go ahead and really invest and get a very good marketing person who can just hype this game up to no end. Specialization is not needed, because there is no specialization for marketing at this point. And yeah, so there's really, if you switch this team to marketing, there's no compatibility because there's no one else in the team. I am going to look for positive traits like optimistic and extrovert, because later it makes other... I mean, I suppose if you fill a room with mean people, I wonder if they all get along. I'm not really sure. But, you know, for common sense sake, we'll go ahead and just look for... Just have happy people here. A mean, goofy person. I guess it's like a lot of mean pranks. This person may eventually become our team lead for the marketing group as a whole. Right now, we don't need a lead because they're going to be by themselves. But eventually, when our marketing team becomes, you know, we're talking 5 or 6 people, they're going to need a team leader to make them a bit more efficient. Although, downside is Marcel is older. 55 years old might indicate that they're close to retirement. In fact, I may avoid them just because of that. Hate to discriminate by age. Totally not doing it because of age. It's only because your work quality, I promise you. I guess it depends. I just don't quite know. You know, if we look on here, we don't really see anyone higher than 60. I guess we could get a good 5 years out of that person. I don't know if it's dependent on an underlying script or if it's a set age or, you know, a bunch of hidden attributes that make someone retire. You know, we'll just learn. We'll go ahead and pick up Marcel. I really like that leadership trait. Maybe they can help us get off the ground, retire with that knowledge that they have helped Unique become the best software company. So we're going to bring them onto the marketing team. Now, here's a fun part. To make sure tomorrow when this new person comes into the job, we don't want them in the core office. We don't want them to go working on, you know, these computers here. We're going to assign this room to the core team, and we're going to assign this room to the marketing team. That should limit who goes where. That can kind of get a little bit confused, or the AI, your employees, will get a little bit confused sometimes. But normally, as long as everything is set correctly, by the end of the day or by the start of the next day, they'll all go to their appropriate areas. If you ever have someone who's just, you know, sitting in the bathroom or in the staff room not doing anything at all, check their room assignment, and then also check the restrictions. Like, I can also not only restrict this to the team, I can say that I only want someone who's a marketing person to go into this room. I don't want to do that with this room because we've got a designer, we have an all-around person, and we have a programmer. So we don't want to restrict this room, the core team room, based on what role they are, because we've got a lot of different people. I normally don't do that at all unless I'm making a separate team, like a designing team, but we'll explore those kind of options a little bit later. And I think, I don't know if, because the main entrance comes through the core room, I'm not sure if that will prevent our marketing person from getting to their office, but just to be safe, we'll go ahead and give them their own little entrance here to the building. That's perfect. Okay. All right. So we are on day 1 of 2 of June, or June 1980. Checking real quick, we don't have any. No new research yet. I've not even explored research, so that's going to be something I will be trying with you all. I know this video is running a little bit long, so I'm going to go ahead and speed this up just a bit until we get to our finished product. And real quick, I almost forgot to do this. We will start marketing our a little bit on the the late front. Oh, who is that? So you walked all the way around the building just to get there. All right. Well, that is interesting. I suppose I also should add a door in the hallway so you don't have to go through their room to use the bathroom. Makes perfect sense. Okay. Oh, we have a sleeper. Oh, you don't have anything to do because I've not promoted it. Okay, so we're going to hit the market button, and this gives us the options for pre-marketing. Do I want to... I mean, it doesn't hurt. I don't think I'm going to drop straight up $6,500 right away. I think they will spend up to this amount every day trying to market your product. It's pre-marketing. It's only a couple hours maybe, so I'm going to go ahead and just quickly set this to marketing team. I want it all over the radio, newspapers, television. Interwebs aren't invented yet. So... oh, I did not set their role to marketer. That's why they weren't going into their room. Again, that's kind of why I don't like limiting these restrictions. Really, if you select the team, that should be enough. Alright, so that was Marcel. He is getting started on marketing the game while we are actually about ready to... we're really going to be wind up selling this or releasing this immediately. So, yeah. Super quick. Here comes the release. Yes, we will start a new marketing campaign for Ubank. And we'll pump... it's per day, so we don't want to go too crazy. We'll let him do... oh, it bothers me I can't do 2,000. We'll let him do about 2,000 a day. Again, marketing team. Alrighty. So here we are. After our product has been released. They are post-marketing. We're talking to the press. We're doing those interviews. We're sending out the copies, waiting for the magazine reviews to come in. And here's a little bit of maybe it's because we did Q&A, but I thought we unchecked that. But here's any kind of ticketing. If we wind up having any issues, any tickets that are submitted by the users, they'll come through here, and our programming team will take care of it. So we'll go ahead and just fast forward a day and see if we have any positive sales from this. And I may have waited too long to do the marketing, so we'll have to see if that's the case. And $50 program took us basically that's 23,000. That's basically the wages that were paid to make this game. So it took $23,000, $24,000 to make this game. Hopefully we can break even on that. Hopefully make a little bit of a profit as well. Right, so we should notice any uptick here. We're gonna get up. We're gonna pay out our new hires or our employees, and everyone went on vacation. I guess I didn't even pay attention. I even mentioned that in the first video. Let's take a look if anything sold. Yes, we have had 8 sales. Wonderful. We are just ready to crush the market. 8 sales. You know what? 8 sales today. 72 million tomorrow. I'm not worried. It's all word of mouth from here. That number can only go up. We're going to get the word of mouth out on Ubank and how awesome it is. And you know what? Comparatively, I'm pretty sure we're still better. Look at that. Look at how many companies we're beating out already. Look at that. Perfect. Granted, that might be because there's different versions, 226, but you know what? We're better than their first version and their first 4 versions. So, there we go. I think we're also the newest software on the market. Yeah. So, and here's where it really got me. I waited a little bit too long for marketing. You can tell right here, it's basically there's no marketing done on this. No one knows about it. Maybe those 8 users are friends of the family. So, we'll go ahead and call it a day. Oh, real quick, our product has been reviewed. Ubank is taking content management to new heights. Perfect. Great review. That's what we wanted to see. And I don't really know. I think that might help your marketing. I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, we went ahead. We are done with our first project, guys. Probably next video we're going to work on some more contracts, keeping the marketing team going, and eventually expanding our workforce and starting another project, maybe the other CMS version, which we'll talk about next time. So, thank you for watching very much. Leave any comments or criticisms or suggestions in the comment box. I do appreciate your time, and thank you for watching.